Okay, Wildcats, today we're at Journal page 72, Graphing Polynomials. Name by degree. Okay, when it's x to the first power, it's linear, and when the leading coefficient is positive, it's increasing from negative infinity to positive infinity. When the leading coefficient is negative, it's decreasing from negative infinity to positive infinity. When it's x squared, it's quadratic. When the leading coefficient is positive, it opens upward. When the leading coefficient is negative, it opens downward. When it's x to the third power, it's cubic. And when the leading coefficient is positive, it's increasing from negative infinity to positive infinity. When the leading coefficient is negative, it's decreasing from negative infinity to positive infinity. When it's x to the fourth, it's quartic. When the leading coefficient is positive, it opens upwards. When the leading coefficient is negative, it opens downward. All right, when it's x to the fifth, it's quintic. All right, the number of terms is one less than a degree. X-intercepts, zero's roots, is when f of x equals 0 and you solve. Solving methods. Method 1, factor. Method 2, use a quadratic formula. Method 3, use synthetic division. Zeros can have multiplicity. When it crosses once, it's multiplicity of 1. When it crosses twice, it's multiplicity of 2. When it crosses once, it's multiplicity of 1. Okay, and behavior. Write using infinite notation with respect to the arrows. All right, if you would, complete your notes. Now your notes are complete, let's take a look at the examples. All right, graphing polynomials part 1. Find the following information for each polynomial and then sketch the graph. All right, so first off, the degree name is cubic. The leading coefficient is 2. Number of terms is you take the degree minus 1. So 3 minus 1 equals 2. So this says 2 terms. Okay, it's an odd degree. The y-intercept is when x equals 0. Okay, so we substitute 0 in for x. So f of 0 equals 2 times 0 cubed plus 4 times 0 squared minus 30 times 0. Well, that all equals 0. So your y-intercept is 0, 0. All right, now to identify the zeros, we're going to need to factor this, okay? So we're going to take 2x cubed plus 4x squared minus 30x equals 0. So we're going to factor and solve for x. First thing is we can factor out a 2x from each of these terms. So that's 2x, which leaves 1x squared plus 2x minus 15 equals 0. Okay, we're going to leave the 2x alone for the moment, and we're going to factor this. Okay, we know that x times x makes x squared. Now, we need to find all the combinations that multiply to give you negative 15 combined to be 2. So 1 times negative 15 is negative 15. 1 minus 15 is negative 14. That doesn't work. Okay? 2 doesn't work. 3 times negative 5 equals negative 15. 3 minus 5 is negative 2. So we had the 2, but it's the wrong sign. So we're going to do negative 3 times positive 5 equals negative 15. Negative 3 plus 5 equals 2. So this works. So our factors are x minus 3, x plus 5. All right, so now we set these equal to 0. So 2x equal to 0. x minus 3 equal to 0, x plus 5 equal to 0. All right, so we divide both sides by 2, x equals 0. Add 3 to both sides, x equals 3. And then subtract 5 from both sides, x equals negative 5. Now, I use a note card for this work, but I just noticed that I left myself space to put that work here. So if you want, you can transfer this over to here. So 1 times negative 15 was negative 15. 1 minus 15 give you negative 14, so that didn't work. 3 times negative 5 equals negative 15. 3 minus 5 equals negative 2. And then negative 3 times 5 equals negative 15. And then negative 3 plus 5 equals 2. Again, that's why this combination worked right here. Okay, this told you that we'd have x minus 3 and x plus 5. Okay. All right, end behavior. Okay, before we get to that, let's graph our x-intercept. So 0, 3, okay, and then negative 5. Now we know from our notes that it's cubic. Since the leading coefficient is positive, we know that that's our curve. So we know that we're starting here and we're ending here. We know that from this. Okay. Again, we know this because the leading coefficient is positive. Okay. All right. Now, we know that it has 2 turns, so we go up. It's got to turn, go down, and then it's got to turn again there. Okay. So our end behavior, it is as x approaches negative infinity, correct, going this way, f of x, I'm sorry, we're going this way, approaches negative infinity. So as we go left, we go down. Okay, now as x approaches positive infinity, so we're going to the right, f of x goes up. All right, go ahead and finish up example 1. All right, example 2. Okay, degree name, the highest degree is 4, so it's quartic. Leading coefficient is 1. Number of turns, we do 4 minus 1, which equals 3. Okay. Now, it's an even degree. The y-intercept is when x equals 0. Okay, so that's f of 0 equals 0 to the 4th minus 13 times 0. Now, here's the thing though. Before we go any further, we need to add 36 to both sides. Okay, so then that's plus 36 equals, so now that's 0, that equals 36. So your y-intercept is 36, but you want to write it as 0, comma 36. Now, to identify the zeros, we need to factor or set this equal to 0 and solve. So we have x to the 4th minus 13x squared plus 36 equals 0. All right, so now we're going to factor. We know 2 parentheses. We know that this has to be x squared and this has to be x squared. All right, now we need to find all the combinations that multiply to give you 36 combined to be negative 13. In order for that to happen, they both have to be negative. So negative 1 times negative 36 is positive 36. Okay? Negative 1 minus 36 is negative 37. That doesn't work. Okay? Now let's try negative 2 times negative 18 is positive 36. Negative 2 minus 18 is negative 20. That doesn't work. All right? So now let's try negative 3 times negative 12 is positive 36. Negative 3 minus 12 is negative 15. That doesn't work. So now let's try negative 4 times negative 9 equals 36. Negative 4 minus 9 equals negative 13. This combination works. Okay, so our factors are x squared minus 4, x squared minus 9. Okay, so we set them equal to 0, so x squared minus 4 equal to 0. X squared minus 9 equal to 0. So then we add 4 to both sides to get x squared equals positive 4. Square both sides. Now remember, that's plus or minus. The square root of 4 is 2, so that's plus or minus 2. So now we add 9 to both sides, we get x squared equals 9. Take the square root of both sides, remember it's plus or minus. So x equals plus or minus 3. So your zeros are 2 comma 0, negative 2 comma 0, 3 comma 0, and negative 3 comma 0. So let's graph those. So we have 2, 3, and negative 2, negative 3. Now, we know from our notes that since the leading coefficient is 1 and it's x to the 4th power, so it's positive, so we know that it opens to the left and then opens to the right. Okay? So we know it opens here. We know it opens here. And it has 3 turns. So there's 1 turn, 2 turns, 3 turns. Okay, and behavior. As x approaches negative infinity, we go left. F of x approaches positive infinity. Okay, as x approaches positive infinity, going that way, goes up. So f of x approaches positive infinity. All right, go ahead and finish up example 2. All right, let's take a look at example 3. All right, degree name is quartic. Okay, leading coefficient is negative 1. Number of turns is 4 minus 1, which is 3. It's an even degree. The y-intercept, again, was when x equals 0. Okay, so then that's f of 0 equals negative 0 to the 4th plus 2 times 0 cubed plus 8 times 0 squared. That equals 0. So our y-intercept is 0, 0. Now, you actually want to put the dot 0 there. And what I left off in here is, notice the y-intercept was 36, so we should have actually put a dot here at 36. Okay? All right? So now we're going to set this equal to 0 and factor and solve. So that's negative x to the 4th plus 2x cubed plus 8x squared equal to 0. So it looks like we can factor out a negative 1x squared from each term. So negative 1x squared, which leaves x squared minus 2x minus 8, and that equals 0. Okay, so now we have negative 1x squared. We know 2 parentheses equals 0. We know x and x makes x squared. Okay, So now we need to find all the combinations multiplied by negative 8 combined to be negative 2. So we know that 1 times negative 8 is negative 8. 1 minus 8 is negative 7. That doesn't work. So let's try 2. 2 times negative 4 is negative 8. 2 minus 4 is negative 2. So this combination works. So then that's x plus 2x minus 4. So now we set these equal to 0. So negative 1x squared equal to 0. X plus 2 equal to 0. X minus 4 equal to 0. So we divide by negative 1, take the square root. Well, let's divide negative 1. Yeah. So x equals 0. But there's 2 of them. So that's multiplicity of 2. So here we subtract 2 from both sides. So x equals negative 2. And add 4 to both sides. And x equals 4. So your x-intercepts are 0, 0, negative 2, 0, and 4, 0. Okay, so we already have the 0 there, negative 2, and 4. Now, we know from our notes that since the leading coefficient is negative, that it opens downward. Okay? So we know it's here, here. Now, at a multiplicity, it touches and turns. Okay? That happens because it's multiplicity of 2. And then goes up and then turns back down. Okay? Now, in behavior, as x approaches negative infinity, means we go left. F of x approaches negative infinity, going down. Now, as x approaches positive infinity, meaning we go this way, it goes down. So f of x approaches negative infinity. All right. If you would, go ahead and finish up your examples, start working on your assignment, and have a wonderful Wildcat day.